what has Powder done?
Uh,
How did Powder gain its
Powder just sits there and looks so good. It's one of those kind of Chihuahuas, and Powder also has an extensive wardrobe.
I should bring in my Chihuahua. I have a Chihuahua too.
Does your Chihuahua have a wardrobe?
No, sometimes he wears a little spiked collar, but that's it.
Okay.
I've avoided it because...
So he goes au naturel.
Yeah. I've avoided it because when he gets excited, he's very mellow by Chihuahua standards, but if he's in a new place, he can still squeak rather harshly. So.
What's the name of your Chihuahua?
Socrates.
Socrates,
yes.
That's a big name for a little dog to live up to, but it sounds like he does.
Mm-hmm.
Socrates.
Yes.
Huh. Yeah, you
dog.
definitely need to bring Socrates in the next shoot.
Okay.
Well, go ahead. Tell us more about your experience so far here. How's it been?
At URTV?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing about URTV that, just the viewers probably don't realize is how many good people are just in the station, whether it's staff or people trying to make their own programs. There seems to be a really good camaraderie around here, with people helping each other out. And, it's URTV is fairly new to Asheville, but I think, the programming obviously is getting better and better and better. And people are going to really start noticing it even more. And probably, there's so many members now. It's probably going to be even more people wanting to join and start their own programs.
Yeah, the potential is absolutely amazing.
It is, the word public access kind of gets a bad name because you automatically just think
Wayne's World or worse.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with Wayne's World.
No.
Wayne's World is a
definitely
fine piece of programming.
But there's just so much terrible things on the networks and just.
I know. Well, you know what I tell people? And I say this all the time on the air. I tell people that we have some really, really lame shows, and we're still the best thing on the air.
It's true.
I have had somebody tell me that your TV is the best late night TV he's found in a while.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
And I was really, really happy to hear that.
I was part of the pioneer on the late night.
Yeah, you were. Anarchy TV.
Anarchy TV. That's right.
What happened to Anarchy TV?
Well, I got so involved in doing this, I don't have enough time to edit that stuff up, and so.
Editing.
So
Takes a
so
little time.
I've got some
Right.
tapes. I've got one in my pocket. It hasn't hit the editing yet. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and one in the camera.
It seems like that's one thing that I've talked to about people who don't have any television or film experience coming into URTV. The thing that scares them the most, and that they don't realize is so time-consuming, is
Editing. Yeah, that's right.
Editing.
That is one thing I have thus far not managed to do. I'm concentrating on learning as much as I can about sound, and our mad scientist here has been invaluable in terms of passing knowledge on to me, because that's something that Mount Dungeon needs. Mount Dungeon has people that are editing, and so I've just decided to become the dedicated sound guy.
Good.
Because we've had sound guys flake out on us already.
Audio has been one of our biggest challenges at URTV. Particularly, I'm not watching now, so I don't know how it's coming along. But I assume that the sound is better on URTV now than it used to be, in general. Is
Yeah,
that true?
I've had a few people complain about it, and I had somebody tell them to do something about the sound. I'm like, by and large, beyond my control, and telling one person to do something about the sound is not going to fix the problem.
Right, it's not one person. It's every producer. It's every producer. Right.
Well, sound is key. I mean, it's just as important as the video image you're getting.
I bet it really is for your stuff. You need to be able to understand every word, or
The jokes don't
it
get
won't
across,
work.
and
Yeah.
I mean, it is key.
Right.
When you watch just a television show on NBC or whatever, and they list the credits, and it's just all these different, crew members and terms that people don't understand.
Right.
Until you
goes
start
into
making
it.
your own program, you don't realize how valuable having all those different people handling all these different aspects of a show
Right.
is.
Right. What people don't realize too, and people compare us right up against the major networks and anything else. And why not? I mean, we're right on the dial. You can flip from them to us to them to us. Bump 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 bump, just like that. And so we're right up against that. Now, what people don't realize is that those shows are putting out probably easily $10,000 a minute to produce what you're seeing and what you're hearing. We're doing this out of our pockets, and there's not pocket lint can just go so far.
Give me $10,000 for a year of Mount Dungeon. What we could do with that?
Oh yeah. For what a network show spends for 10 minutes of production, what we would be a great budget for us for one of our shows for a year.
Yeah. Or for that matter, could just guarantee that fiscal 2008 won't be a problem for URTV after all.
Right. If a couple of our shows had any financing. And this isn't a plea for financing. This is just an explanation of why you're not going to find that kind of slick, programming. But this show operates. And see, I know you have you ever watched this show? Probably not.
I've caught it a few times.
A little bit. Are you familiar with our aspect we call the proven scientific fact?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, our number one proven scientific fact is that if there's something moving on the screen and noise coming out of the box, people will sit and watch it. So there.
That's true.
Infomercials, which I can't stand. I don't know why people will put them on.
I will turn the channel.
Yeah.
I will even turn it off.
Well,
not.
there's a market for everyone. There's so many different types of people out there in the world that
I think there are many untapped markets that people don't have the courage to tap.
I came up with a concept a while back, and this is what it was that if the government, actually wanted to educate the population of the country, that it could be easily done by establishing, I was going to say, 3 or 4 satellite channels that would be carried on all the satellite dishes and would be carried on the all the cable networks and stuff like that, be made generally available. That were, I don't know if either of you know, but in the early days, and TV was pretty much black and white in those days, but in the early days of television, the first, what we call now public TV stations, public TV channels, they called them educational channels. Right. And some of my favorite shows were, they had college professors that were somewhat known as good college professors, and they would just put a camera up and the college professor on the blackboard, and he would give the same lecture that he would be given to his students, And I remember when I was probably like first grade and stuff like that, I was watching physics about stress of materials and how to figure the stress points for building a bridge and that kind of stuff. I found that to be extremely interesting. And so if they had, I thought, well, now they should have educational channels. Now, granted, not everybody. Are you going to join us?
Yes.
Please do. Now,
I hear the door ring.
Okay, is there a clean cup available for him?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would pour him some tea in that cup, would you?
Yeah, but you just don't get that kind of stuff anymore.
No, you don't. But if the government truly wanted to educate the population of the country, they should have several channels. I think that one channel should be geared toward math and science.
Great.
Another channel should be geared toward literature and things like that. You know, they could break it up.
But the question is, does the government really want to? The current government.
Well,
Current government isn't educated.
for a portion of the price that is put into the educational system, whether you want to look at it on the elementary school level or the high school level or the college level, just for a portion of the amount of money that's put into the educational system nationwide, they could better educate a wider group of people.
Quote I heard once: better to build schools for the boys than prisons for the men.
And I think that and I'm going to tie all this back to infomercials is where I'm going with this, just to let you know. And so anyway, I'll leave it off and I'll just go into tying it back. So and I was thinking that they could do that, and then to finance that they would have a channel that would go along with all this, which I proposed to call, and this was long before all this started happening, before we got about a half dozen of these channels.
Right.
I proposed to call that channel the commercial channel, and the commercial channel was to run commercials. So all the commercials that might be run on the other 3 or 4 channels would all just get grouped up, and they'd be run on a channel by themselves. So people who wanted to watch commercials could watch commercials, and people who didn't want to watch commercials wouldn't have to watch commercials. You see, if they wanted to watch the educational channels.
Sadly, market forces are dictating otherwise. Look what happened to A&E.
Here's what I'm seeing.
Costs for shows too.
Here's what.
Gone so high now.
Do you know how much money? You see these big things on TV, and we were talking about $10,000 a minute and stuff like that. But do you know where the real money is? Per minute, commercials. They put more money per second into commercials than into anything else. It was my prediction that the commercial channel would be very popular. You see what I mean? It would be up to the producers of the commercials to produce their commercials in such a way as to hold the viewer's interest.
Some commercials are kind of entertaining to watch. Most of them really make me want to stick something into my eye.
Exactly, but at the same time, we've all had the experience where we've been watching TV and we suddenly realize that the commercials are better than the show we've been watching.
That does happen sometimes. That does sometimes happen, yes. I really hate that thing.
But you haven't experienced it yet, have you?
Jumping, man.
Yeah. Okay.
How is it? Is that a real horn down there?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did it sound like a phony one? Oh, no.
Note to self: unplug that sucker sometimes.
So
when
that-
you're not looking.
So anyway, that's my idea. If
Well, who would watch that channel though?
the commercial channel, I don't care personally who or even if anybody watches the commercial channel or not. The point of the whole thing was to put some educational channels together.
Well,
And
I've had this thought that kind of ties into your educational channels,
okay,
but it's more about incorporating
Is anybody blocked off?
television.
you're a little
Right
off
there.
screen.
Would it be better if I moved over there?
Sure.
Up to you, or you can
Just don't wanna
You
block
could
my-
even go back
Sorry.
there and you know how to operate the camera?
Yeah.
You could make the shot wider.
The tripod? Or
You can make the shot a little wider. You can pan it back just a little bit. Do that.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no,
Please, you were talking about.
But I think one of the big secrets to fixing the education system is to start incorporating video lessons, images like moving images to
Okay.
the kids, because they grow up watching television all the time.
Okay, exactly
And
what you're talking about.
Teachers today are trying to teach the same way that they taught long before we ever went to school, when you were going to school, and it doesn't work because humans aren't interacting the same way anymore. And kids today need visual images to learn and absorb things.
Absolutely.
There needs to be a better balance between
Absolutely.
teaching up in front of the class and all
I think
that.
they always did, but there was a time in which the way that we are taught now was used with a more narrow group of people.
Have you
People
seen
that are more inquisitive, because there was time that with the people who were going to school either of a higher class or naturally more inquisitive or more intelligent, and now we have the notion that we're going to use the same way of teaching everybody, and let's just be honest about it, some people are stupid and it's not going to work with them.
Right, and that's why I say some people will watch. Those who want to watch the channels and those who enjoy education will watch the channels, will enjoy it. Have you seen the series called The Mechanical Universe and Beyond? Okay, well that's an excellent example of what you're talking about, and that's another thing about why it would be so much more effective. Instead of in the early days of television, they had a college professor in front of a blackboard, and he would give the lecture that he would give, and that was all good and well. But now computer graphics can be added in, and to explain a point and to put up a visualization and stuff that can show interactions and stuff more complex than a man can draw on a blackboard, is there. The ability is there now, and for the production costs for that against the educational value is I'm absolutely there. That's the programming I'm talking about. What you're talking about, the video portion of that is a tool that's being left out of the educational system.
Well, and it's like you say, some kids are just not going to respond to it. But I think a lot more will than are at this moment. And, basically the American workforce is really becoming more and more not stupid, not dumb, but just uneducated in all areas of life.
Right.
All areas of life. And, it's really going to catch up to us here in another generation.
Well, our fast new world, so there's so much more to learn, I mean, it's even if you don't factor in people being less educated, if you just think about all the things that we need to know in our daily lives, I mean, all the things about, I mean, just as far as, take like eating healthy, for example, taking care of your body, I mean, so many people aren't educated in that just because, I mean, there's you can't just go eat what tastes good, you can't just do what feels right, and this country especially needs to learn that. Yeah, that's right.
Because if you travel outside the United States and then come back, you see a big difference in the size of people and the health of people.
Well, it's like 1/3 of all kids are overweight, 15% are obese. I gotta go, I'm being called.
How do you like the tea?
It's great. Thank you. I'll be back if I can.
Come back, have more tea. Would you care for more tea?
I'm good. I'm down to my last minute. I'm afraid I have to move on. Feral Chihuahua's business, actually.
Okay, now what are y'all filming today, or
Yeah, we're filming a lot. We rehearse Sunday through Wednesday, and then Friday, the day of the show, we also do a double run through at 35 Below. Anytime that we're not rehearsing the live performance, we're working in time to shoot the film segments.
So you check out film gear and you take it there?
Well, I'm fortunate. I have my own camera.
Unfortunately.
Very fortunately. So, mainly the thing that URTV helps me out on, equipment-wise, is lighting, which is very key.
They have some nice lighting packs, don't they?
They do. They have some very nice lighting packs, and if I was a more wealthy man, I would love to buy my own, but, that's one of the great benefits of,
that's
having
something
a facility like this.
That's something that we study in my studio certification class, is that lighting for video and lighting for theatrical productions is like way different.
It is.
And that for and people, people when they look at stage lights and they think about lighting, they think about theatrical lighting,
Right.
And I try to tell them that hey, lighting for video it's just a lot more boring. Everybody just wants a nice even wash and and that kind of thing.
Like I've shot some Chihuahuas have done a lot of just live performances, like with the Fringe Festival, for example. We did 3 nights there, and I videoed it, and I had the discussion every night with the lighting person. You can't light this for just regular stage theatrical performance. I need lights up.
Right.
They don't
Give me
listen.
every light in the house. Usually, you just say bring them all up.
And they don't, they don't understand.
They can't understand.
And then, the final
It's different.
product
It's different
doesn't
for
turn
video.
out good.
Right. You really can't see it.
Yeah.
Right. It's different for video. And you need those other lights.
Right.
For Mount Dungeon, what we've taken to doing is turning on
Every light in the house, I'll bet. No.
everyone except the one with that thing in it.
Uh-huh.
Or except the one with the
Exactly.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But every other one, boom.
How you like our lighting here?
In here?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've been in the studio when it was lit up and in use.
Mm-hmm.
It's, they work this much better than I expected. I mean, it works really great. It's such a small space in here, and, it's using your space to maximum efficiency. I think it works great.
It's working for us, and we're going to install. The mad scientist part of our concept here is going to install a wormhole.
Oh, is this going to be a green screen sort of deal,
Blue.
or
And,
a blue screen?
and we're going to install a wormhole, and one end of the wormhole will be permanently affixed to a door, right there.
Huh.
You see what I mean? And the other end of the wormhole, of course, can be anywhere in the universe that we choose to project it to. But we'll have a stable end permanently affixed to a fixture here in the.
I wholeheartedly suggest we be very, very careful with that setting.
Well, if anybody
Yes.
gets out of hand, we'll just push them,
But
toss them in.
don't want some superheated stellar matter or some ancient
Coming
horror.
through.
Bad.
Oh, we'll see if we can't install some sort of a one-way,
Well,
we can see out, but they can't see in. We'll put a one-way mirror up,
when you get the wormhole up, I'll be back.
Will you be back with the
I'll
wormhole?
be back.
Okay.
Just don't push me in the wormhole.
No.
Thank
we
you so
won't.
much for having me.
Do come back. And,
I will come back.
And bring some
Good
of
to see you,
your.
Wyman.
I'm going to talk to everybody about that. We're meeting Sunday,
Okay.
and I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Probably Monday or Tuesday.
That's about being on in here for next Saturday.
Yeah, for next Saturday, 5 to 6.
Yes.
Check.
Okay.
I'll give you a
Excellent.
call. Thank you so much,
Very
guys.
good. Very good. Well, that was good to have a Chihuahua come in.
Yes.
Wait until you meet Powder. You've not met Powder yet.
Not met
But if you
Powder.
talk to Jen, she's met Powder. She knows. She's a fan. She's one
Okay.
of Powder's fans, and Powder has a fair fan base. I don't know how large. I think you can go on the internet. If I'm not mistaken, John Six went on the internet and there were pictures. There's pictures of Powder.
I'm very partial to my Chihuahua.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of chubby for a Chihuahua because he's
A chubby Chihuahua.
He's big for a Chihuahua, but he's still pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
And he still gets mistaken for a puppy at 12 years old. So
Oh.
yeah, he's aging very well,
Mm-hmm.
all
Well.
things considered. So I am very partial. And we have 8 minutes left.
No, we have more than that. We go to 7.
Ooh.
We go to 7.
Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to stay
Oh, yeah.
until 7. 'cause-
Well, I'm hoping that Dr. Gordon will. Dr. Gordon said he was kind of tied up until 6, and I suggested maybe he'd drop in during the last hour.
And what about Randini? Wasn't he going to come and drink
Randini's probably on his way.
something? Okay. Well,
All right.
certainly hope he comes.
And so I thought that probably Gordon and Randini could talk to one another. It's better for me if I feel already like I interject in too much of
Well,
my own
here
stuff.
we are.
There's Randini now.
We were just wondering about you.
Okay, what's going on with that cup right over there?
Yeah, this cup.
Okay, that's a good
That
one.
was.
That's
yeah.
a good one.
I'll use the, what did the lady say?
Wedgwood.
No, the lady called it,
No,
cordial? No,
no.
You want to finish off this or start?
well,
in
I
on
was
this?
gonna ask you, I'm not a tea drinker, a hot tea drinker, so which one should
Okay,
which
well-
one would you recommend for somebody?
He's not a hot tea drinker.
This stuff, there's not much left, but it will be good and strong. If you're looking
Do you
for
like
the caffeine.
strong?
I really don't like strong when it comes
Okay.
to
Okay,
anything, so.
okay. Then
So we'll go with that.
This
then.
is-
Oh, that's a nice light tea, yeah.
this is
yeah.
weak.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's nice.
Now there it is with
I'm
nothing
gonna try it.
in it,
like
and
this.
just go with just for the taste. What do you think it tastes like?
There is cream and sugar. Should it come down to it, however.
Does it taste weak?
See, now it's got a good taste. I just can't get past the hotness of it. That's the reason I'm not a hot tea drinker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna try it again.
Okay, well, don't burn yourself on it. It's pretty darn hot, isn't it?
Actually, it's not that hot.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it with some sweetener.
Okay. Now I recommend it that way. As a matter
This
of
is why he
fact.
said I needed 3 glasses.
Well, I didn't mean 3 glass. I meant to have 3 cups of tea. I thought you would drink 1 whole
Right.
cup.
And I guess we got a spoon here. Is
yeah.
that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
I was
one
thinking.
lump or 2.
I'm going to say for that size cup, that should be just right, and that should taste really good. Now, did it have a taste to it?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah.
A nice taste.
Mhm.
Okay. This should be perfect.
That does make it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly does.
I would recommend that you finish that cup off before you put any cream in it.
So
Try
you
it.
think just try it with tea and cream?
No, just tea and sweetener. A whole cup of tea and
That's
sweetener.
what I'm saying. And then next tea and cream,
You could try that.
and no sweetener.
You could try
That's
that.
what I've been doing.
Okay.
I don't do artificial sweetener, and I try and avoid sugar. So. And I usually make my tea.
Here we'll save a splash of the darker stuff for you there.
See, what I do is I do tea instead of coffee because it's possible to make tea even stronger and make it faster than coffee.
I'll tell you
I
what.
put just a little bit of boiling water, throw a lot of tea in there, and it can be ready fast.
I can slam back a lot of tea and still maintain a good perspective on reality. But you know what? A couple of cups of coffee, and I get jangled and paranoid
You can do
and
that sometimes.
everything. It's different.
I'm not sure that I'm getting old or something. I don't remember locking my truck, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
That's important.
Particularly if you got something good in the trunk.
Yeah.
Right. Well.
To be sure.
Let me see, I'm going to make a cup of what he has there so I can see what it is he's experiencing because it looks pretty, for me, that's a pretty weak cup of tea right there. So, but I'm trying to.
Let's see. Dun 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 0%, 0%. Not a significant source of calories from fat, cholesterol, dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, or iron.
So what's news?
Yeah. Sometimes. I think it's important that the FDA does this for a lot of stuff, but sometimes it's just pointless to put a label on it that says there's a whole lot of nothing in this. I think most people know that.
Well, I've seen stranger warnings.
Yeah, sometimes they do get a little nuts with the warning labels.
Here we go.
Like using Preparation H toothpaste.
Here you go. Give a listen to this and give us your
Yeah.
commentary on this action.
Yeah,
I was listening to that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what was your reaction to that?
I like it.
Do you like it?
It makes me want to get up and dance and work on a computer.
Oh, you like that concept? That's what it's supposed to do. Yeah, that's it.
I'm not a dancer. I like that. I like that techno music.
I'm
I
looking-
dabbled in that some before, one time.
You did what now? Sorry.
I dabbled in it a little bit years ago.
Oh, you
back
did?
when they had mp3.com.
Mm-hmm.
and put some up there and made a little bit of money with
You did?
it. Yeah, sure did.
Well, under what name?
Didn't make a lot of money yet. What name did I put that under? I had another one under Keyboard Express where I just played my regular. I told you I played piano and did extra well with that. But the techno stuff, I think it was called Techno Asheville or something like that. I cannot remember.
So you play piano. You actually play piano.
Yeah.
You're a trained
And
pianist?
I'm not a trained pianist.
Okay, you read
No.
music?
I can read music,
Okay.
but not. I should put it this way: I have read music. I haven't read music in a long time, and the reason I read music or read music was because I played the trumpet in high school.
Right.
And they, of course, taught us to read music, but I hadn't read music in a long time. I play by ear. When I play the guitar, fiddle, keyboard, piano, anything, I play by ear.
Did you bring any instruments with you today?
No. And I was going to bring a deck of cards and left them at the house. I forgot
Okay.
them. I was going to show you a couple of card tricks, but that's okay. But some important news
Okay.
everybody probably already knows about, but I just want to say that, my thoughts and prayers go out to the Graham family. Ruth Graham's in a coma. And may not make it through the night. I don't know. But they said her response is getting worse and worse now. So, we just have everybody pray for the family on that one. And that, so it's a bittersweet thing, It's one of them bittersweet situations.
I kind of experienced and lived through that not too long ago. My grandmother passed away at almost 93 just a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom called her, said she had a massive stroke, and the doctor said that they didn't expect her to make it through the night. And so I went to her bedside, and there she was. And it was really hard to see because she was unresponsive, and I pretty much knew that she was already gone. The doctors had said the only reason why they think the stroke hadn't already killed her was because of the pacemaker, and so it was just a matter of winding down. And
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's rough stuff. That's,
So, I hate to see Billy Graham go through that. And he had said that, of course, that's the love of his life and his soulmate. And he didn't know how he'd live on earth. Even though knowing that she's, with God, he wouldn't know how he would live on earth without her, without the, having the flesh, around him. So,
it's rough stuff for
it's
anybody.
one of them situations. Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's one of those situations where a lot of times, and you see this just about every time, and I'm not by any means trying to make a prediction, and so don't anybody out there in TV land take this the wrong way, because he may live another 20 years. But typically when you see the woman go first, the man's gone within a year or less. Often, I mean, like probably 97, if you put it in percentage, probably 97, 98% of the time.
Grandparents on my father's side.
Billy may be watching this show,
He may be, and our thoughts and prayers are with him.
I would hope not, considering the
I don't
circumstances
think
at the moment.
I think because he's with his children.
I think he's got better things to do right now.
Him and his children are all with her. She's at the house in Montreat. And of course the news media is already starting to flock here. Swananoa, down the valley there.
They needn't to do that.
It looks like there's satellite trucks coming from all over the place now.
They needn't to be down there. Yeah.
But, they really ought to let somebody,
Just
family be in peace.
Yeah, they needn't to be there.
My grandmother, who passed away not too long ago, outlived her first husband, my grandfather on my mother's side, by a good 30 years, and she outlived a second husband also. But on the other hand, my dad's parents, his grandmother died first, but his father went about a year and a half afterwards. So yeah.
Yes, so that's the same with me. My grandparents on my dad's side, my grandpa died in 1982, and he was 82. He was born in 1900. Wow. And my grandmother was born in 1802. I mean, I'm sorry, 1902, and she just died 2 years ago. Excuse me, at 103.
Wow.
And
so
she
come
lived
from some pretty good stock there, don't you?
Yeah. So she lived to be a good 20-odd some years after him, without doing the mathematics in my head, of course.
That's incredible.
And then on my mom's side, my grandmother passed away in 2005, in March of 2005, and 1 year and 2 days to the hour almost, my grandpa died last year. So, so he just couldn't, take it too much longer without her. So and that's the way you see it a lot of times. Is I don't know. I had a neighbor of mine. His wife passed away within 8 months. He was gone, and you see that a lot. But then on the other hand, my mother and father-in-law, my father-in-law died in 2004. Well, by saying father-in-law, it's my wife's dad. But and my mother-in-law, of course, is still making it fine. Of course, she's kind of younger, but she's only like 65 or whatever. So, or 68 or whatever it is. But anyway, I expect her to probably live another 20 years. I mean, it's like the women can get along without us.
And we're helpless without them. Yeah. That grandmother was 103. That's amazing. Was she pretty much all there towards the end? Still cognizant?
Yes. If I could live to be 103 and be as active as she was, only the last year of her life was she not active. She was kind of bedridden and starting to lose cognizance. Remember who you were. But even all the way up to 100 years old, she got out and gardened every summer. She had a garden.
Did she can?
And she canned.
Okay.
And
Good for her. Good for her.
Just she come from that generation, of working on the farm and all that.
Right.
And I tell you,
good. That was a good life, wasn't it?
It was. And I tell you, her daily regimen was a big dose of gravy and biscuits with 2 or 3 pieces of sausage in the morning, and a nice big ham hock for lunch.
It's a wonder we live.
But you know what the difference is they eat that food. Me and my wife were talking about this the other day. Back then, they would eat that food at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. All that cholesterol and stuff, and then the man would go out and he'd farm for 6 hours. I mean, just sweat just a fly. And the women too were out there washing the clothes, cleaning the house.
They used all those calories.
They used every single one. I mean, they didn't have the blood flowing. Did not have time to get all that cholesterol built up in it. But today we want to eat the same foods, and then we just go sit back and we do this. And the only exercise we get is our thumb.
What, pinch each other?
No, flipping the remote.
I know.
And so our thumb muscle gets real big. I mean, you look at mine. Mine's pretty big there. And so that's what happens. So now we have to get on all this medication, and our liver starts going bad, and it's not a good thing. So exercise. That's exactly how 4 months ago, before I started coming around here a lot, I was 259 pounds, and now I'm 215, and still losing. I went from size 42 to size 36 pants, and now they're getting loose on me.
And is it because you're on a diet?
Because I started exercising. I got in front, the business on, and I started getting in front of my computer, and that's when I started gaining weight. 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, you were listening to exactly what I was talking about, weren't you?
Yeah.
And that's where this comes in. Now,
and
I've seen the future. I have visions. You know what I mean? I have a vision of the future, and in the future, people will still surf the internet, but they'll have a big screen that hangs on the wall, and they'll be like in the middle of the room, dancing around to techno that is designed to make them want to be active, and they'll have a handheld thing, and that's why I have those. You've seen the ray guns I have and stuff like that. That's what my ray gun project is. It's just to make pointers.
Just a mouse pointer. Well, they already have. Yeah, they have something like that.
Instead of using a mouse, and people will enjoy it. Some people will have a 6-gun. Some people will have various ray guns.
I'm shocked there's not more set up already for people to be able to kick back on their couch and surf the internet on a big screen. I'm surprised
it's coming.
Well, I mean, you got the web TV thing,
which
I guess
that was my first hardcore experience of the internet. My girlfriend had web TV.
I had web TV.
I had web TV.
It was great. The great thing about it is we had an old beater TV from the 70s at the time, but it was one of the first TV. I mean, it took me and 2 buddies to move this thing in. But the thing is, it was one of the first TVs that seemed to be remote compatible, and I figured out the code so that the web TV keyboard could also be used as a remote for this old beater TV. So this old thing, this ancient TV, was hooked up to the internet and was using modern technology for the remote and everything, and I loved it. It was cool as hell.
Yeah. I don't have web TV anymore. I haven't had it since probably 98 or 99, I guess.
I don't think anybody has it.
Well, Microsoft bought it. No, it's still there. Microsoft's got it. You can still go to any store and buy it. And but now I understand that it's a lot better because now you can watch certain TV programs and most of your primetime programs, and you just hit a button on your keyboard and it just goes in the corner and you're on their website and you're able to interact with it and things like that. So, you know, I guess Microsoft in their wisdom.
Well, then, did you hear our discussion about educational channels?
You know, I probably didn't. I think you were just starting to talk about that when I had sat down to eat dinner and come on up here. So
okay, well, we were talking about educating the.
That's good. Thank you.
Educating the masses, educating the people in the country by putting better educational programming on channels that went out over cable and satellite. You know, so that
Just passing through.
for one good
Using us for the tea.
for one good production facility or something like that, you could educate a large group of people, and for the amount of money spent on our educational system as it is now, that for a fraction of that, a larger number of people could receive a better education.
yes, absolutely.
You know, and so that if someone, say a politician or something, really wanted to educate the American people, they should look into something like that.
Exactly.
And that they would also have at their disposal the tools that we have now, a video and stuff like that, that could do more in-depth graphic representation of concepts and stuff like that as teaching tools. And what you're saying, this ability then maybe to put it up in the corner and to, if something that they touched on was interesting to you, you could go instantly then and go on to a page of links.
Exactly.
and could look further in depth in that, and you could just mark it and come back later. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that kind of stuff. And
I think they like us dumb.
yeah, well, anyway, that's you know, I'm telling you my vision of the future, and if we're gonna have a future, this needs to be the kind of future we have.
Well,
The
one of the things that when I was in school, because I've been messing with computers since 1979. My first computer in 1979, I was just a little tyke, was an Atari 400. Didn't even have a keyboard. It was just flat.
I
had a keyboard.
had a Radio Shack. Whoa,